I understand. Please do not misinterpret this as being unsympathetic. I understand what you're saying about the situations that have happened. I also understand that we are not the only couple that has expressed their dissatisfaction with you, but unfortunately, that's not our problem.
As y'all can see, this video is gonna have an entirely different tone, but one of the things that I really love about my content and love about being in this influencer spotlight is that I've always been real with y'all. I've always shared my journey, and it hasn't always been this exciting, glamorous, oh my God, you get all these products experience. Like, it's not just that excites me. It's also the work side of things, the actual business side of things. And as someone who I can confidently say that I feel like I'm a really successful business operator, like I run my business seemingly well. I do have a lot of these learning obstacles, these learning issues, like what I'm gonna talk about today, that have helped me along the way, that I usually don't talk about publicly. But because I have, been blessed and fortunate to have you guys support me and to also just be confident enough to share some of the lessons that I've learned along the journey, I'm excited to be able to talk about this openly. All right, let's get into it. All right, first, let me just start by saying that, yes, I've had a crazy year. Ever since March 20th of 2023, life hit hard. Last year, if we go back to January 1st of 2023, I was living, I would probably say, a dream. Like, my social media was blowing up. We were being booked left and right. We had amazing clients. I mean, it was just as great of an experience as I could say. Like, I was being sent products from companies. We were influencing things. Like, that was the start truly of a lot of the things for my business, both the wedding film side as well as the influencer side. Because it was just go, 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 and we were living this moment, we're riding this high train, I wasn't prepared for the moment I'd have to step away from my business. I'd have to step away from the driver's seat and handle personal problems. This is the biggest lesson that I think I've learned, and what I've come to realize, that no matter what you go through in life, a contract is a contract, and you are obligated to fulfill that contract with whoever signs it, whoever that client is. They are always in the right, regardless of the losses and the things that I've dealt with in my personal and private life. My business had a contractual obligation to maintain. It's December 13th, 2024. I am in a much better headspace. Like, this is just true and honest. Like, I've gone through the grieving, I've gone through the depression phase. I feel so much more myself. What I'm about to talk about is going through the time and the trials of where I wasn't necessarily as excited with my job. Going back to 2023, like I said, it wasn't a one-man band. We were on the up and up. I had an editor. I was getting ready to hire an audio engineer to do our mixing. We were literally shaping JPM to basically grow. I was the one who was in point of contact with the clients. I was the one who was responsible for driving all the sales, doing all the consultation calls, managing the client relationship. I was the one doing all of the admin back office things. Most of you are probably thinking like, well, that's not a problem. Like, I do it too. The issue is that when life happened, I stopped doing that. That was like mistake number one. I stopped sending emails. I stopped checking in with couples. I found myself just saying I'm sorry so much. Like, when I tell you that this is my passion, filmmaking is my passion. So to be so close to a product and a belief that I love, but to then see myself saying I'm sorry and receiving so many just disappointment messages, it really started to mess with my mind, on top of the fact that I was going through life. Now, like I said, I had no one to cover the admin side. I had no one in positions to send emails on a regular basis, not just one email, but multiple emails, following up, keeping things in a system, keeping our editing queue in the system. All of these things started to just get dumped on me, and then it was abandoned. Because I was being pulled in so many other directions, I was still trying to fulfill the weddings that we had to go shoot. I was still trying to manage those side of the business. I wasn't really following up and maintaining the relationship after the client had experienced us at their wedding. A lot of my clients were just looking at their contract like, hey, we're supposed to get this film, weeks or months ago. And one, we hadn't heard from you. And two, we see you posting on social media. We see you living your life. You're dressing up as Santa. You're doing all these other things. And we don't have it. We don't have what we paid for. At one point in my career, I was all focused, tunnel vision on business. I was tunnel visioned on my craft, on my production company, on just growing that. Somewhere along the way, I started having 50-50, where I was 50% in on my business, 50% in on influencing. And that created this weird unbalanced effect where some months I would go all in on business and wouldn't be influencing as much. And then other months I would go in on influencing and then wouldn't be doing business as much. And there was no balance in between. And that biggest problem is because I was the one driving the entire ship the entire time. When these things started happening, not only did I lose people in my personal life that affected me, but I immediately started taking on the responsibilities of things that were beyond my control. A lot of you know I adopted my niece and nephew, two of my brother's kids, that when he passed last March, we're living in a very difficult situation, you know? And I'm not one of those people who post things for recognition. If I do a good deed, I don't need a pat on the back. So when I did these things, it's not like I'm just out posting and publicly talking about it, but this was a big commitment for not only myself, but my wife. We went through a big change in our lives, going from having 2 kids to now 4. We're now learning how to parent differently and just how to do so many different things, while at the same time trying to build a bond in such a difficult time because their dad, my brother, just passed away. So it was so chaotic last year. This resulted in me basically not working. I literally would show up, I would film a wedding, I wouldn't say I was faking the smile, because I was definitely having a good time. Filming the weddings was the biggest distraction from reality that I had the entire last 18 months. And flying away from home was so much better than being back in Texas and back at home, because every time I walked through that front door, reality hit. And so it wasn't like it was exciting to come home and see them. It was exciting, but it was also like, dang, that's why you're here. Because of that, I wasn't working, I wasn't editing. It was ridiculous. I would go weeks without even turning the computer on. Y'all see me on social media and you see me making these videos and you see me on Instagram, and that's just one side. It's a distraction. Half the time I wasn't even the one making it. It was my wife making it, but I wasn't able to commit anywhere. Whether it was work, whether it was social media, I just wasn't able to do it. Not only that, but I had to let go our main editor, who had crushed it for the last year. When we let her go, all the editing all of a sudden got dumped back on my plate. So it was no longer just going out and focusing on production and client management, but it was production, client management, now editing, now mixing, now color grading. Because at the same time that we let her go, I stopped my agreement with our colors and went to more of an a la carte coloring process. Within 8 months, my whole business went from positive and we're growing to now we're caving in. The walls were falling in on itself. And I did my best to try to maintain a sense of positivity, because I knew that it was mostly depression, it was mostly myself that was standing in the way of the growth. But I also started realizing, started fearing that everything that we had worked for, everything that we had built was all for nothing, because now we're gonna be back down to a one-man band. And honestly, I'm just gonna be real with y'all, that was a hard pill to swallow. You guys see me on social media with a team and a crew, and that was exciting. And in the blink of an eye, it was literally just me. And on top of that, I had clients for the very first time in 8 years of filming weddings, I had clients who were upset with me. My first piece of advice is that you will go through things running a production company. And if this is your first time coming across my channel and you watch this video and you just now getting hitting the ground running, or you're thinking about going full time, my advice before you even start that is to establish system operating procedures and have a day-to-day operations that can be done by anyone. It's because when life happens, your business has to keep going. Your business does not have family. The business does not have relationships. The business has contractual obligations that it must fulfill, or you find yourself in a situation like me where you were growing and then the walls just fell in. Because now, like I said, as of December 13th, I'm in a much better headspace, and now we're essentially doing damage control for all the clients that were kind of left in the dark and lingering and waiting for their final gala. March 20th of 2023, my middle brother, Stefan, passed away. January 30th, 2024, my oldest brother, Jason, passed away. And then a month after he passed away, my mom was diagnosed with COPD and dementia. And at this point in time, I literally can't have a conversation with her. I will try to talk to her and, she'll sort of reply, but then forget, mid-sentence, and she just doesn't finish his statements. And as much as I try my hardest to maintain my business side, I can't escape reality. But here at work, when I'm here in my office, I typically just hibernate, you know? I'm stuck in my thoughts, I'm consumed in my mind, and then nothing's getting done. So as we went on through the year last year, going through these moments, knowing that I wasn't working, knowing that we were getting further and further behind, knowing that I was laying people off, I wasn't updating my contract to reflect our delivery time. And because of that, my clients that were booking were just assuming, oh my God, we got the best videography team in the world. They're gonna crush it, it's gonna be amazing, which we did. We showed up, we crushed it, we did our job, and then we went dark. We went ghost, we went MIA. So March 20th, 2023 to August of 2024, Justin was just all over the place. My mind was literally going crazy. I had so many things going on. Because of that, these couples now, under the expectation and booking current contracts, were expecting films 4 to 5 months later. Where were we at in the queue? Guys, it's December of 2024 and I just finished all of my 2023 weddings. That's how far behind we had gotten. My best thing that I can advise anybody right now in their film business, I don't care how long you've been doing it, is to look at your system operating procedure, your automations, your workflows. Is it set up so that if you were to abandon it, let's say for even a week, would it run itself? If it wouldn't, start there and categorize and figure out exactly the elements, the areas that you need to start adding pieces and fix it. I had one client who sent me an email about 3 months after their wedding, right? The first thing they said to me in the email was that we hate to reach out to you because they expected me to reach out to them because all their other vendors had sent a post-wedding kind of email, like either asking for you know, what it was like, their experience, you know, making sure that they kind of checked their T's or crossed their T's and dotted their I's. And I realized that that was the first area of opportunity for me, is having a post-wedding follow-up system. I had a call, as I showed you guys at the beginning of this video, very eye-opening when they said specifically that that's not their problem.
But unfortunately, that's not our problem.
I think that kind of woke me up. It got me to realize that business is business, personal is personal. You don't go to work and worry about your personal life, just like you don't go home and worry about your business. Having a system and a process in place for the moment that you as the owner don't have to be there is gonna be the best thing you can do for yourself. I'm basically back where I was at 2022, starting with just me and trying to rebuild. And so we've been working with our academy students in order to figure out how to basically hire academy students, give them in the world training, like real world training, while at the same time they become like the elite best cherry-picked people that I can go to if I need extra shooters or need extra coverage. They understand the process, they're equally as passionate, and they're just as confident in doing what we need to do. They understand what needs to be done. Being a one-man team is not a flex. Like, doing it all yourself is not a flex. Like, I don't care how small you are, you need a system. If you're just starting out, you just got your camera, you're working on getting clientele, think about the future. Think about the time that you're gonna have 5 to 6 weddings a month, and you're gonna have you know, destinations and travel and things like that that you have to start doing. You're gonna have an edit log. You're gonna have all these other aspects. Think about, plan for that. Don't plan for right now, plan for the future, and start adding steps as you go. Having that, if you care about your brand as much as I do, you're gonna want to start right now developing a process. You guys see me on social media, and I think it's assumed that I just got it all figured out and that I'm just balling and bringing in like bales of money and I'm just crushing it. It's the exact opposite, guys. I'm struggling. I'm doing the most and the best and the hardest work that I possibly can, just like the next filmmaker. Don't let the followers, don't let the numbers, don't let the sponsored brand deals, don't let the excitement, don't let that stuff fool you. Like, I'm still learning how to run my business. Even though I thought I was really good at it, I still find myself in obstacles and situations where it's like, okay, this is what happened because this didn't happen. Let's fix it. Like, drop your best advice down in the comments. If you got some advice, drop them down there. Hopefully other people that might be finding this video even years later might be going through something similar. They'll see some of these tips and stuff like that, and it'll help them. So let's just start this. Let's create this atmosphere in filmmaking world where, like, we're here to uplift and help people regardless of their business stature, regardless. Like, I don't care if you got 5 followers. If you're good at doing something in your business, you got a good system in place, let's share it. Let's make this, let's help. So I just wanted to be real with y'all and kind of let y'all know some of the things that's happening. That way, when we start sharing and we're starting to change things, we're starting to grow it again, it's gonna be even more beneficial, or it's just gonna feel so much better to show you guys the process going through it. So right now we in the mud, but soon we're gonna get it out the mud. All right, y'all, that's all I got for this one. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.